Shifting now to the defensive line at edge rusher, and this is where it gets a little concerning if you're the Buffalo Bills. You have returning Gregory Rousseau, you have Michael Hoyt, you have Landon Jackson, Javon Solomon, and Andre Jones Jr. Hitting free agency, you have Joey Bosa and you have AJ Epinesa. The big question mark here is obviously number one, the scheme change from a even front to an odd front, and number two, Michael Hoyt is a huge wild card here. Some people will say, well, he'll be ready by week 1 next year. Some people will say, well, he's a pup candidate. He'll be back mid-season. Some people will tell you, even if he does play next season, he won't be the same until 2027. It takes a full year to be dominant again after an injury like that. You're just kind of going through the motions your first year back. So it's just an absolute wild card. You do not know what you're getting from Michael Hoyt. So it's almost like pretending like he's not there. So it's almost like saying our edge rushers are Gregory Rousseau, Landon Jackson, Javon Solomon, and Andre Jones Jr. That's kind of yikes. Like, this is a position where, and fans don't want to hear it, but there are a ton of them in the draft this year. We're going to be talking a lot of edge rushers this year. Yep. And when we get to free agency, the Buffalo Bills are probably going to have to pony up for some edge rushers. I don't know if it's going to be Joey Bosa and AJ Epinesa. They're probably going to have to go out from outside the organization to go get some guys that fit Jim Leonard's scheme here. So edge rusher is just an insanely concerning position right now.
Yeah, and again, the scheme change. Do they go for more of like a 3-4 outside rusher type? Do they want to get a guy that maybe plays sort of that odd front end? Like, I feel like they have guys already that could probably fit that role. So you would think from the schematic type, like look at what the Denver Broncos had with Bonito, Jonathan Cooper. Think about those types of archetypes, I think, is what we should be looking at. And I mean, those are two studs right there. So I'm not saying we're going to go out and find someone like that, but it would be, I think, reasonable to think that a guy like Joey Bosa probably wouldn't fit in this defense. A guy like AJ Epinesa, I would rather have him than Landon Jackson right now, but that's not the cards we're being dealt. So, to me, those guys are more like, they're more 4-3 ends, right? I just don't know where they would fit. So like they're both probably walking. You obviously are going to have to make it work with Rousseau at one of the outside linebacker spots. Probably going to have his hand on the ground still.
Well, that's the question, right? With Rousseau is like, do you tell him to beef up and like play him at the 5 tech like Calais Campbell, or do you have him pull like the I almost want to say Jabril Peppers. Why am I blanking? Julius Peppers. There we go. Right, because a guy like Julius Peppers played that 3-4 outside linebacker role well. I think they're personally going to have him with his hand up, and I think they're going to have him rushing. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's where they will have him. I think they'll have him as the weak side outside linebacker, as their main rusher, and then like a guy like Solomon will probably pencil in as a strong side outside backer for now until Hoyt comes back, and then Hoyt probably will fill that
Landon
role.
Jackson's a big one here. Like, is Landon Jackson a 5 tech or is Landon Jackson an edge rusher? Like, that's
I right now in my mind, I'm kind of either putting him in right behind Rousseau or I'm putting him as an edge rusher on the strong side. Like, I don't think he's a hand in the. I don't think he's beefy enough to be like a 3-4 end, but I think he's athletic enough to potentially be a 3-4 stand up sort of rusher. And like, the fact is we have to figure out something for him because he's on the team.
Yeah. And then you look at the interior of the defensive line, you got Ed Oliver, who will probably pencil in at the 3 tech, Deion Walker, who will probably pencil in at nose tackle, TJ Sanders, probably be the 5 tech, Dwayne Carter, probably a 5 tech. You have Tommy Akingabeste as well, and you have Zion Logue, who's probably in nose. So you've got some guys along the interior of the defensive line, some young guys, some guys with promise, some guys who will play along that odd front and have spots to play along that odd front. Where the Bills ultimately put them, who knows? But you're losing Jordan Phillips in free agency. He's not coming back. You're losing Larry Ogunjobi in free agency. He's not coming back. I remember he did great in Cleveland and then went to Pittsburgh and their odd front and struggled. He's not coming back. Fedarian Mathis makes his way back here. And Daquan Jones, I don't think Daquan Jones and some of the things he's been saying on social media, he is coming back. So the Bills are clearing out the veterans outside of Ed Oliver along the interior of the defensive line. A lot of youth there. But again, you might have to go pay a guy like John Franklin Myers to come in here and play along this defensive line, or you might have to go and pay some other guys as well to beef this interior defensive line up. Even though there is a lot of talent there, you don't know what you're getting. Dwayne Carter coming off of injury, you're projecting T.J. Sanders, Deion Walker, Ed Oliver to this new front.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that it's nice now in retrospect. That is one area that you know, a little upset about, like, Landon Jackson. We could have had Xavier Watts, but I do at least like the fact that we kind of doubled up on interior defensive line, because I do think Sanders and Walker both could play in an even and odd front
Mm-hmm.
depending on where you want to line them up. So I think there's work to do here, but I don't think it's as significant as what you have to do on the edge.
At linebacker, that's a different story. I think the Buffalo Bills have a lot of work to do here at the linebacker spot. They got Terrell Bernard coming back, Dorian Williams coming back, Joe Andreessen coming back, Keontae Jenkins coming back, and Jimmy Charlo coming back, signing a futures deal. I think there's a couple of guys here that are interesting projections into this new defense. Not returning. Matt Milano probably gone at this point. I would say Shaq Thompson probably gone at this point with his relationship with Sean McDermott and all those various different things. Maybe he's back because Sean McDermott didn't land anywhere, but I think Milano and Thompson are probably gone at this point. Maybe Thompson comes back. And then Balen Spector is a restricted free agent. So again, the Bills need to add some bodies here, specifically like the thumper type, because I don't think they're going to see Joe Andreessen as like the answer there. Keontae Jenkins, Jimmy Charlo, Terrell Bernard, that's one of your linebackers, the guy who's going to drop back into coverage primarily. But the guy who's going to get to the line of scrimmage and just thump in the run game, right? Like the Alex Singletons of the world, right? That Jim Leonard had in Denver. That's not on the roster right
Yep.
now, unless you think Joe Andreessen is that dude. So the Buffalo Bills gonna be shopping linebacker at some point this offseason, and probably gonna have to add multiple bodies there as well. Dorian Williams, interesting projection. Maybe they try him out at edge rusher as opposed to linebacker. Who knows?
Yeah, I saw some funny names people were coming up with for him. Alex Singleton, free agent, by the way. So who
Mm-hmm.
knows? Maybe he's a guy that comes over. I know a lot of people are also very interested in Leo Chanel as an option in free
Justin
agency.
Strand.
Justin Strand, yeah.
People are bringing up Rodriguez out of Texas Tech.
Jacob Rodriguez, yep.
He's a small guy though. Like that's more the Bernard type. So
see that, and so
to me, if we're adding a linebacker, it's going to be a big thumpy boy, not the pseudo safety type like a Terrell Bernard.
I would tend to agree. I would tend to agree, because if you think about sort of how that umbrella looks right now around those three guys up front, it's probably Rousseau. And you got Dorian Williams on at one of the inside spots. I think you have Bernard, and then you have Solomon or Hoyt on the other side. Yeah. So it's like it's very thin. I do think a guy like Bernard has a chance to fit well, but he needs to have a guy next to him that, is more of that thumping type. I think, is it Dorian Williams? I think they need to add two guys at least to this room. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind like Singleton and Chanel. That would be kind of cool to see that. I know Cody Alexander mentioned Quay Walker from the Packers as someone who could fit.
240 might be the baseline for weight, by the way. Like, not that I want to put a number on it, but when we talk about it, 240, probably white. Let's be real here, probably white.
Well, Singleton and Chanel, there you go.
Jack Sanborn is another name, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what Jack Sanborn's weight is. Singleton's 240. Jack Sanborn. I'm Googling it here real quick. He's a free agent. Another big white. He is 234. So maybe 235.
Quay Walker could 241. 241 for Quay Walker.
Yeah. So like not to put such a generic number on it, but we're looking at the guys who are 235, probably 240, like in that range. You're going to need some guy like Leo Chanel, like Jack Sanborn, like Alex Singleton. Those are the type of guys I think the Buffalo Bills. Could Joe Andreessen be that? Could Dorian Williams be that? Maybe.
Well, Milano obviously probably not going to be back.
Shaq Thompson, probably not.
You probably want Dorian back to being like the guy you bring in first off the bench, most likely. But right now he's obviously going to be penciled in as a starter, I would imagine, until we do something in free agency.